then that death would have gone into the unvaccinated category.
Oh, my God.
So vaccinated people that died would have been counted as unvaccinated. Now, what does that do to the death rate in the unvaccinated?
In the sort of subsequent couple of years, people are talking about a cancer spike across all populations, heart diseases in the young, children dying after vaccines, sudden death syndrome, miscategorization of statistics and deaths from and with COVID at the height of the pandemic, as well as more peripheral subjects like the way that this whole pandemic was reported, the clandestine nature of drug companies and the data on the clinical trialing, the fact that there was never any trials for transmission. I wonder, what do you believe, Doctor, will be the single piece of data that provides a kind of tipping point where the majority of people will say, wait a minute, on reflection, we were lied to. Something significant happened in that pandemic. What do you think it will be? Because at the moment, it's so diffuse, and the kind of accumulative and incessant nature of ongoing despair, war here, migration there, means that it seems to me that the people of Britain and the people of America haven't significantly assessed what went on between 2019 and 2023. And I wonder if you can point to a set of data or some... Or an object that you would say that there is the bullseye of what's just gone on?
The obvious one is correlating vaccination status against excess deaths. Now, the British government were given the opportunity to release this just last month, and they actually decided not to. They closed that down. They said they weren't going to release it because we know there's excess deaths, and we know that vaccines were given. What we don't know at what you call the participant level data is who had the vaccine and did they die? And the government has refused to release that data. Now, we believe that data has been released to the pharmaceutical industry. Where bits of data has appeared, like in Japan, for example, and also in Italy, it doesn't look good. It looks like excess deaths were associated with vaccination. Now, just a couple of days ago, I interviewed a renowned Italian scientist. Let me get his name right. His name was Panagius Polycretus. Great name, Greek name. And he's done quite a bit of work on this. And what he found was that when someone was vaccinated for 15 days in Italy, and some places 21 days, but in Italy it was 15 days. For 15 days after they were vaccinated, they were counted as being unvaccinated. It's a bit of a sly trick. And the reason people did that is, okay, it takes time for the immune response to develop. Now, if you're looking at the protective effect of vaccine, there's some rationale in doing that you wait till it works and then you look at how effective it's going to be. Now, you and me know it wasn't very effective. But the point is, a lot of the adverse reactions against vaccine occurred in that first few days after the vaccines were given. So if someone was vaccinated and they died, say, a week later of myopericarditis or blood clots, then that death would have gone into the unvaccinated category.
Oh, my God.
So vaccinated people that died would have been counted as unvaccinated. Now, what does that do to the death rate in the unvaccinated? It appears to put it up. Therefore, everyone needs a vaccine to protect them against dying in the unvaccinated status. So we could get rid of all this ambiguity if the government would just release who was vaccinated and the death data on a participant level. The reason, of course, they say that they don't do this is because it would breach confidentiality. But I've talked to a former science minister, David Davis, still an MP, great guy. And he assures me that there's ways to do this completely anonymously, but the government is not doing it. Now, I would hope that the Trump RFK setup in the States would start releasing that for the States. But where there's glimpses of it in Japan and one or two provinces in Italy, it's not looking good. So that is the key thing. Now, we've got brilliant statisticians standing by waiting for this data, but it's not released, so we don't know. So we're left trying to piece bits and bobs together. Why don't they release this data, given that they've released it to the pharmaceutical industry already? So we can assume that the government knows, we can assume that the pharmaceutical industry knows, but us hoi polloi, us plodditariat, us useless eaters, we're not given that information, despite the fact that we have people with the expertise to analyse it within days and give us definitive answers. And my hunch is they're going to fight not to release this data, at least through the lifetime of this Parliament. Now, if there's another government in the UK, if reform gets in, you would hope there's enough enlightened thinking there to release that data. But government bureaucracies do tend to move rather slowly. So the data's there, but we're not allowed it, which is a pity.
Thanks for watching the video. Have a look at this one over here, or join us Monday, Wednesday and Friday on Rumble.